Oh my goodness, back here. It's a makeup game, guys. Makeup game. Welcome to the Makeup Lounge.
Hey, the back-to-back Makeup Lounge.
Yeah, but this one's going to be worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be worth it, guys. If you guys recall, back a month ago when the Nuggets were scheduled to play the Nets didn't have their stars available. League had to cancel it. So now we'll get a game between the real Nets and the real Nuggets, and everything will be fair. It'll be a lot more fair this time around. So I can't wait to dive into that. We got a great show. We're also going to talk about Kobe Bryant's ridiculous. We're going to revisit this. His ridiculously insane prediction that Jokic was going to win an MVP right after Giannis does. Don't know how he did it. I think it's worth revisiting. We're going to talk about Jokic's current MVP odds. Can't wait for that. And of course, our bets. And to help me do it, the man with the black. You're doing black cap lately.
Yeah, well,
you're Kendall Roy.
I've been real Succession filled, bro. This pregame lounge is pretty fucking iconic.
Let's play good tweet, bad tweet.
Let's do it.
Over here, I got D-Line Co. You guys know him as D-Line?
Yeah, guys, I got real makeup energy today.
You don't have any makeup on, that's for sure.
Nice. That's true. I should cake some makeup on in between. You're right. Let's go.
I'm real thankful that it's not normalized for men to wear makeup. Seems like a real inconvenience. Over here, I got Harrison Wind.
For that reason alone, right? It's a lot of work.
I retired the cardigan temporarily.
Oh!
2-0. 2-0. We're good. I might bring it back for another must-win game down the line. We'll see.
This one not a must-win?
No.
I will wring it out of its power too early.
Yeah, right? I don't want to use it up,
Yeah.
This game has all the fixings of just like, I mean, what are the stakes now? You know, the stakes are, first of all, it's an interconference game. It doesn't mean anything. Then you talk about, okay, the Nuggets could win tonight because they should. And hopefully some fun stuff will happen. That's like, the bar right now is, will fun things happen where all bets hit? Right. And will the Nuggets just like get a win one way or the other? Outside of that, you're like, it's low. You're supposed to beat this team now. You're supposed to dominate them, I would imagine.
Oh boy,
really excited.
I don't like that.
Really excited to circle back on the back-to-back angle though when they lose.
Yeah, like, well, team was tired, you guys.
Schedule loss.
It was tough.
There's no scouting. Like, what's the scout on the Nets right now? I mean, my God.
Those are the teams that come back to bite
Those
you,
are the
you
teams
know?
that really come out to bite you. We're like, I didn't realize he was a shooter. It's like, who is this guy? Harrison, walk us through the game notes, man.
So, none of the Brooklyn Nets' big three are playing tonight.
Cool. Wow.
It's a home game, so Kyrie Irving is not playing. Kevin Durant is out. He's been out for a while. He's going to be out for a bit longer. James Harden is also out. So, Nets are severely undermanned. Will Barton is back for the Nuggets, battling through hamstring tightness to play tonight.
Why? When I saw that, I was just like, all right.
Well, yeah, because he went from probable up to questionable, and now he's playing, which is
icy.
interesting.
Got some icy hot on the old hamstrings. Feeling great.
For sure. I haven't seen the starters yet. Oh, I have seen the starters. Will Barton is back in the starting lineup alongside Monte Morris, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and Jeff Green. Speaking of Jeff Green, the reigning defensive player of the game.
Let's go.
Jeff Green.
Let's go, yes.
Mike Malone was talking about him in the pregame. He said he's a 15-year pro who stays in shape. We have optional shooting days sometimes, but for Jeff, optional means mandatory.
Oh,
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do like that, though. Nice. That is pretty cool.
I do like that. If you skip out on an optional shoot-around or practice on an NBA team, that's probably a pretty bad look, right?
In that it's your job.
Like, I got to think for most guys, optional is probably mandatory, though.
I don't know, man. I think you're wrong about this. Like, when you talk about what ought to be, you're right. But I'm telling you, man, this is Michael Porter when he was on, it might have been on his show, on his series, Curious Mike. Might have been on that or another show where he was talking about one of the surprises that it's not that hard to outwork guys because guys in the league, there's a lot of guys in the league that just don't work very hard. And I honestly think that's part of it, man. Like, I'm not saying all of them, but I do think there's a surprising number of guys that are just like, I'm paid to be here during the. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal famously said, "I got hurt on company time. I'll rehab on company time." Not everybody has that mentality.
Yeah, we got a Jamal Murray non-update.
Let's go.
In the pregame presser.
Feed that to me.
He's got COVID right now, so Malone said his rehab has kind of been stalled. No timeline for his return. He'll come back when he's ready. There is zero pressure on him to come back at any point this season. Malone said that as well.
A lot of questions about Jamal in the pregame. I will say the note, though, about him having COVID, like Malone, I think, has let this slip a few times. Not that it matters anymore. I mean, come on, we're 2.5 years into this thing.
I mean,
like,
it says he has COVID on the injury report.
It doesn't say COVID protocols?
Well, if you're
I
in
would
the
say
protocols
that,
now, you have it.
They don't list you
Because
also.
it's like it's pretty cut and dry now.
Either way, it is just a thing now that there's no I guess there was no mystery to you before, but it's just like, yeah, this is another like obstacle of what a bummer, man. That really is just another thing to kind of slow down the process, what have you. I want to pull on this thread though about Barton being in the starting lineup. Our guy Joel Rush, friend of the show, he tweeted out earlier today, among NBA 5-man lineups with at least 500 possessions, which is a very low bar. Usually you want possessions with a little bit more, but well, whatever, 500. The Nuggets' current starting five of Morris, Barton, Gordon, Jeff Green, and Jokic has the best net rating at 16.0.
The hell?
I'm telling you, man, like, this is the thing I was talking about. Jokic, it's not a coincidence to me that he has had this resurgence. Not that he was bad, but that his numbers have skyrocketed again once that lineup came back together. It's a hell of a lineup, even as shorthanded as it is. And I think that the fact that they've been able to play with it so seldomly, like, disguises what even this version of the Nuggets really is.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Will Barton is a Jokic player. That has sort of always been. There are a lot of valid knocks on Barton as a player. It's flawed. He's not a star. But, you know, the one that always drove me up a wall was just that he doesn't fit.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's just not a number on earth that reflects that, you
Right.
know? And I think Barton's been trending up lately. Obviously, he had to sit that last game. And for me, that's built on that foundation of knowing how to get Jokic the ball, knowing what Jokic does. And so not just Barton, but this entire group. I think it's a good point, man. We focus so much on the Murray and Porter injuries, but there have been all these little blows that have kept them from getting even their relatively full-strength group on the floor as much as possible.
Dude, every season there is a lineup that includes Nikola Jokic that is breaking some net rating record for offense. It's like the thing that...
And it usually involves Will Barton.
Yeah, but it's like always like... All right, maybe I do understand when people are screaming that we're wasting Jokic's potential when somehow, like, literally just inserting when he's on the floor, he said over and over and over, like, the Nuggets are the best team ever. When he's off the floor, they're the worst team ever. Like, it's frustrating to hear, and I can't even imagine, like, I can't imagine Jokic looks at the numbers, but, like, I'm sure he can just feel that.
Yeah.
You know, though, Harrison, you were... we saw the presser this last one when he was asked about the team's identity, and he's like, we're Warriors, and he makes the fist. But honestly, like, there was something to his answer on that, where I was kind of like, was he being a little tongue-in-cheek? Was he sure? But part of me wonders if he, like, I do think he's kind of content with this group. Not that he's content as in, I think we do this thing in today's NBA where we're always like, what if he was with Giannis and Steph and this? And it's like, well, of course, then they would win every game, and it would be really cool. But I think, like, that's also not in the spirit of competition to just stack the deck. And I think it just seemed to me in that presser that I was kind of like, he has a certain admiration even for the group of guys that are playing just out of necessity.
He has respect for the grind and respect for the journey, I think.
The process.
Yeah, total respect for the process that's gotten them to this point.
He has answered, and it's always sort of indirect with Jokic about these questions, but that motivates him more than wins or losses, is going through it, trying to get better with the group at hand day by day.
For sure. I think that this is like part of like the national Serbian identity too. This is like tied in with the concept of Inat. This is like they're a small but proud nation that has... they are underdogs just sort of by birth, and they, like they've got the top tennis player. Like I think that they take pride, at least. I mean, obviously, I'm just grafting my own thoughts here, but it just seems like
from
that,
people in your mentions that tell you like,
that
demonstrate their pride.
But it like I obviously I respect it, man. I love guys as Nuggets fans. Like I don't know how you could want any other person on your team. Like that's what it is to be a Nuggets fan too. It's just like we are not given any advantages in this world, but like we're willing to stick with it and see what happens.
If we talk about this game, though, tonight, because it's not just a foregone conclusion that Denver will win. Like, look, Denver lost to the Philadelphia 76ers in very similar fashion earlier this year at home. So it's not beyond Denver to drop this one. But when we talk about the players tonight, they got Patty Mills as the first name.
Oh, God.
I would look at me. He is a Nuggets killer. Like this might be a Facu game where it's like, hey, man, you got to disrupt that because you need somebody that's going to be able to really slow him down. You've got Bembry. You've got
Bembry.
I'm trying the list is starting to drop off a little bit. You got Bembry. You got Daron Sharp. I mean, look at these names.
I think Daron Sharp's actually out tonight.
He's out too?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We are about to manifest a rando 30-point
You know who's not playing
right
tonight and who's away from the team is Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah,
for
they
a
could
new
probably
looking
use
for
him,
a new
actually.
gig.
I mean, you got LaMarcus Aldridge, I guess, at center. Then is Blake Griffin playing tonight? He didn't play last night.
I don't know.
What is
I'm
this
gonna
game?
go dig in for the latest Nets injury.
Dude, what is this game? Nobody's playing.
You know who they have? They have my guy Javon Carter. He's
Oh,
wasting away.
Got Bembry, Javon Carter.
Javon Carter is the weirdest guy that's your guy.
Definitely.
I would have
Definitely.
never thought that you would be a Javon Carter
He's
guy.
like Faku, but 2 inches taller. He really is just Faku, man. You know
Javon
why?
Carter is a Michael Malone guy.
He is a Michael Malone guy. You know what? He's at West Virginia, and I just swear I saw him in the tournament like 14 years in a row. Guys, Javon Carter's
Just
back.
slamming his hands on the floor
Yeah.
before a possession.
He always looked like he was like 38 in college. You know, he had that thing where he was already balding. So I don't know. I like Javon Carter. All right, there's not a lot of guys here, but that's part of the point. Is it is tough, I think, in today's NBA to like get up second night of a back-to-back. Now you get the scouting report. Like we don't know these guys' games ins and out. I'm sure Bones Highland right now is not like, all right, Kessler Edwards. I know everything. I got to force him left.
That sounds like a made-up player.
So anyway, Denver should win. I'm looking for the starting lineup to hopefully give us some like flashes
You
of,
would
oh yeah,
hope,
this
yeah.
team can really roll. And then of
think
course
Blake's
Jokic
playing.
just being enormous. Sirens on Colfax, good sign. We're off to a great
Let's
start.
go. Hot take alert. Hot
The
take
other
alert.
note I have tonight, JaMychal Green is back from health and safety protocols. Zeke Naji's obviously been in the rotation. Also, Zeke Naji has the third highest PER on the Nuggets. Third highest PER. I know one person on this panel knew that. Third highest PER.
It's going to become a bit now. Sorry, these are deep inside jokes.
Yeah.
Wow.
His PR is
But that's
league average.
That's notable. I mean, it is, but it's the third highest. That's notable to me.
What is more notable, that it's the third highest, or that the third highest is
a league average
a
player.
literal
Exactly
average player?
Both of those
You know,
things.
it's funny. The Najee evaluation has been muddied a bit by Denver's roster construction, and we've sort of zeroed in on all the things he can't do.
Threes.
Yeah, but like him at the 4 alongside Cousins sort of allows you to take a further step back and appreciate what he can do already as a young player. And so I've made I've made a concerted effort to draw a distinction in the grades between, Najee to me is yet to look like an NBA big, but like a center. But
he doesn't have to be, though, I don't think.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
but he still looks like an NBA caliber player.
Yeah.
And so I really hope he gets a longer run here, because my thing right now is I think if you keep playing Zeke, good things will happen.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's a clear decision. You keep playing Zeke and you let JaMychal Green sit for a little bit.
I hope that's Michael Malone's decision as well, but we'll
Seems
find
obvious.
out. We're gonna figure this out
Hey
here
guys,
really,
really quick.
quickly. Yeah.
So it's Mills, Bembry, Edwards, Johnson, Aldridge.
Yeah,
starting for Nets.
the Nets.
Who is Johnson? Oh, James Johnson?
James.
James
Should
Johnson.
we officially call these the Brooklyn Knots? The Knots?
Wow, I hope we don't lose to the Knots tonight. Let's move on quickly with these two next segments here, guys. I mean, obviously it's the anniversary of Kobe's death. A night I will never remember.
I hadn't heard it.
You hadn't
Never
heard that
forget.
online? You'll never forget. Honestly, it was to me as one of like the few days I actually remember like vivid
Yeah,
details about that day or what have you. And I gotta say, like just from a personal standpoint, I am a person. We talk about this privately off air, but I am a person very good at separating the person from the art from the artist.
That's why we're friends.
I'm a very elite at this.
Adam's
very skill.
favorite artists are highly controversial.
Very controversial human being.
right. He's like, did you ever hear Charles Manson's music? It wasn't
Yeah,
bad.
I think it got slept on because of an altered
Did you see
perspective.
Hitler's paintings? More better than you would think.
So, but my point is like I don't want to get into any of this or any of those aspects of this. But like one of my things is the more I cover this league, it's funny that analytics has become such a hot button thing or what have you. Because the more I get into this league, the more I really do think that the like sort of just mental toughness approach and mental aspects of this are so, for lack of a better term, the Mamba mentality aspect of the NBA really is like I was underselling it massively. I almost wrote an article like 6 years ago about how it's the most overrated thing. So glad I didn't, because it would exist and I would
that
have
would
to,
be
like,
rough.
You
laugh
would
at
just
it.
be getting flamed for that.
It would just keep coming up every now and
month
then.
or
It's like, this dumbass, and I would have been like, yeah, I am.
Every anniversary, actually.
Every
From
anniversary.
here on out.
Reminder, the worst article ever written.
Yeah.
But I get into it. But honestly, like, I'm just so blown away by the fact that 4 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever it was, Jokic predicted Giannis would be the MVP, maybe 6 years ago. And then immediately after that, he's
Kobe
did. So what did I say?
You said Jokic.
Oh, Kobe predicted Giannis to be MVP. And then shortly after that, I mean, I know he was a challenge, but it's still like a challenge that came out of left field for both Giannis and then for Jokic to be it. And it made me think that I really wish we had Kobe commenting on Jokic right now.
Yeah.
I really wish we got Kobe's commentary on Jokic's last 2 seasons and the bubble run and all this stuff. Because honest to God, he liked European players. He obviously grew up in Europe.
Pau Gasol, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys had incredible chemistry.
I really wish we could hear what he has to say about Jokic.
Yeah. I really do, too, man. I mean, Kobe he really appreciated, like, every single aspect of the game. You always heard about him talk, like, when I ran on the floor for warm-ups before every game, like I got goosebumps. Like
right.
20 years into my career, or however long he played. But he also just appreciated every little intricacy and the uniqueness of every player, it felt like. And Nikola is such a rare player. I feel like Kobe would have just been really just attracted to where Jokic is as a player in person right now.
No. If nothing else, it would just be nice to have another person with credibility speaking on Jokic's behalf. We have like 4. We have Jalen Rose. We
Isaiah
have
Thomas.
And you, I guess. You're the 4th. That's pretty precipitous drop off.
Yeah. And, would be very curious to know what his perspective is on Jokic's role in this sort of Mamba mentality question, right? And his evolution within that context. And particularly within his ascension to becoming an MVP, when you press the right pull on the right levers, press the right buttons, that Clippers game we just saw from him. I mean, Jokic, among all of the greats that I have seen, is one of the few who pushes this question of, like, when is it worth being selfish or unselfish? Right. And I'd just be so curious to know about his perspective on Jokic's evolution in that regard.
And I even just think that we would have had Kobe at a Nuggets game. Like, you know what I mean? Like one of these, like we have the Luka where he's speaking in Slovenian to Luka. And, like I just know we would have got speaking Serbian to Jokic. Like it's just one of those things. He was such a hoops head. Another guy, like my number one, if I had to make a ranking, I was so glad we got a little morsel from Tim Duncan that one time, on a podcast where he talked about, he said Jokic's favorite player to watch right now. Larry Bird to me is the GOAT.
Yep,
we got the
white whale.
That's the white whale. I want to hear Larry Bird talk about Nikola Jokic, like in depth. Somebody grab that story. I think it's going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Who's for you guys the guy that you want to hear wax poetic or just comment on Jokic?
A couple of years ago, I was trying to do a story on like Jokic's outlet passes, and I was trying to talk to like Bill Walton. Obviously, we've heard his comments a little bit. But I was also trying to talk to Wes Unseld, too, because he was like, the outlet pass king.
Yeah.
Before Jokic, I think is, but he unfortunately passed away. Those two would be good.
Do you have one?
Maybe Shaq or Charles Barkley.
Yeah, for real.
No, I don't know. I mean,
Shaq is Kendrick Perkins-esque in his ability to like contradict himself.
No, Barkley
every time he talks, it's
from
like
one night to the rest. He doesn't even know what he's saying.
Those are when like we all do that thing where Barkley gets behind Jokic or the Nuggets. It's like, oh, let's share him now.
Yeah,
but when we disagree with every other thing he says,
it's like Kendrick Perkins. I'm telling you, like he'll do it. Like Jokic should be the MVP. Carry on next day. There's nobody in Embiid's category. You're like
carry the hell on.
Yeah, I muted Carry On a while ago. Oh my God. Another one for me is Dirk. We've heard a little bit, but sure. I would love to just
that's a good one.
Talk with Dirk about Jokic for 20 minutes. The European angle, being the franchise cornerstone as that guy.
Yeah, for me, it's like nobody talking about Jokic could make me feel any better about him. I would only find out.
It's not about feeling better, though. It's just interesting. Aren't you curious? What if Larry Bird really is like, man, I think he's better than me?
I don't know. I don't know that I would care.
Like, you might be right.
Yeah, I don't know that I would care.
What if he said like, okay, would you? I mean, is there anybody?
Honestly, I got mine already. Greg Popovich calling Nikola Jokic Larry Bird incarnate was like, all right, well, that's all I've ever wanted to hear.
Right.
And by the way, anyone who still disagrees, I'm not going to convince you if Popovich didn't. So I don't.
Tonight
care.
we got Steve Nash, by the way, although it was underwhelming.
Also, dude, it doesn't count if it's
I don't think
coach.
Steve Nash wants to be coaching the Brooklyn Nets anymore. That's my read on Steve.
I nullify and throw out every opposing team's coach's quote about a star player.
Yeah.
It's the least
that's
interesting.
A good one
thing
in the comments. Phil Jackson.
Man, I don't know. I would be intrigued, of course.
I think it's good because I don't know what he would say.
I have a better one. Don Nelson. I'd love to hear Don Nelson's like high as a kite take on Nikola Jokic. Are you kidding me?
Bill Walton toned down.
By the way, my all-time favorite sports story in the history: Ethan Strauss flying out to smoke weed with him, getting too paranoidly high and freaking out. If you read the story, it's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. He's like, it got real weird in the room, so I just left out of fear and panic. It's like, yeah, dude, you've never been high before? Like, I got paranoid, bro.
Oh my God.
It's the funniest story ever. It's cool. This is part of what I love about doing Keeping It 1000 is like Alex English like loves Jokic, but not as much as Fat Lever, who like really loves him. By the way, little teaser. Good chance we have Andre Miller on next week. Very excited. Professor Andre Miller next week. Keeping It 1000.
Discuss
he
whether
too
or not
will talk about Jokic. Very excited to hear what he has to say.
ask
That's
him
gonna be
if he
awesome.
sees his own jumping ability in Jokic.
Yeah, I'll bet you he's got to love Jokic.
Oh,
He's got to love
course,
Jokic. If he
man.
doesn't,
Of course.
it would
He's
break
a
my heart.
6'2" Jokic.
It would break my heart if he didn't. Arvydas Sabonis would be another one. Of course, we get Bill Walton, and we've heard before. I wouldn't mind hearing again. It'd be fun to hear from him as
wouldn't
well.
mind.
So,
By the
those
way,
are-
someone pointed out I just completely Perkins myself. I said I got my quote from Popovich and then immediately said throw out every opposing
Yeah, you pretty
coach
much just said
participant.
carry on.
Yeah, I pretty much just carry on it.
Carry
So,
the hell on.
it counts for me when it's Popovich. Everyone else, it's boring.
Well, I think it's time that we look at these updated MVP odds anyway, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they have shaken up in
They have.
days.
They have. I'm looking at them right now. Would you like me to report on them?
Please.
All right.
Are you
Well,
looking at them on DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app?
I am.
Wow.
I am looking at DraftKings Sportsbook,
Sweet.
the number one sportsbook in all the land. According to DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one sportsbook in all the land, they currently have Joel Embiid leading in the MVP.
They want a pity MVP?
Apparently so. You can get,
Pity
but
MVP. It's picking up steam. Man.
although I will say,
especially
like-
when they don't trade Ben Simmons.
yes, the top four, there is a cluster at the top, and then there's a drop off, and
Okay,
it
let's
is
hear it.
Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo both tied at plus 300.
Okay.
Right after that is Steph Curry at plus 350, and then one Nikola Jokic at plus 400. And then after that, the next closest, Ja Morant at plus 1300, and then Kevin Durant, and then it just falls.
So I actually think that list of 4 people is actually too many. I think that list is actually a 3-person list, but with like a betting sucker.
Yeah. I agree.
Steph Curry. I think
Curry's the betting sucker.
I honestly do. Like, he's had a pretty rough stretch. I mean, he was so good, and the team was so good that he was the clear favorite. And I think that's lingered longer than what it actually probably deserves.
It totally has. And I don't think this is going to happen because the Warriors have looked really rough lately. But if they run off, they win at 8 out of 10 games or 9 out of 10 games, he looks a little better than he has now, he's probably still the favorite.
He can get back into it.
Yeah.
You're right that he's not eliminated. I just think that the odds have him as second, second or whatever, and I don't think he is. So.
A bet bait, you're saying.
He's probably fourth right now.
I think he's clearly fourth. I mean, I think the 3 best players in the league right now are bigs, and I think they are bigs that are lighting the world on fire in different ways, respectively. And when
It's
I think
wild,
about
man.
my tenure as a basketball fan watching this league, bigs have been so disrespected and reduced and cast aside, particularly in the Golden State era. And so it's really cool for me. That's my big MVP take right now. Rest of the season to parse out who should get it, but that it's those 3 guys and that they're all bigs.
International bigs.
International bigs.
But
I'm
also,
loving it, man.
I mean, Giannis is sort of like toes the line of this, but I mean, the new era of the big is the hyper skilled big. Right?
There's another word for it. Unicorns. I think those are the 3 true. Like, I'm serious. Porzingis was the one that they said was the unicorn, and he's
Right.
kind of gone he's actually pretty one-dimensional. I think if you really talk about who are the 3 biggest unicorns, Embiid because he's just so big, 7'1", 7'2", whatever, and like just it's whatever. But Giannis is unlike anything we've seen. Jokic's unlike anything we've seen. Those are the true unicorns. I don't think
Steph's
there's
a
another
unicorn, probably.
one. Steph kind of is too, to be honest. He kind of is a unicorn.
Are there
I don't
more,
think
are
we're
there
gonna
more
see that
unicorns than regular horses at this point? This is
No,
the
because
most commonly used word to describe somebody who's so unique, but it's ascribed to like 10 people.
I think we ascribed it to a lot of horses.
Okay.
A lot of horses. I mean, like I said, Porzingis was a unicorn. Now we're
Yes.
like, no, he's just a tall guy that shoots. Like, we've seen that before. Doesn't rebound or, like, he's wussy. So, but anyway, one way to make a
lot of
game like
horse.
tonight a lot more fun is to place bets on random things, because then you have a second thing to be engaged on. Eric,
Let's do it.
take it from here.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, let's see. Where do we always start? We always start with the odds of the game itself. Let me go ahead and
Nuggets are
click.
5.5 point favorite, which is weird because
Yeah, if you've got it up, go ahead and click.
Nuggets 5.5 point favorites. Like, I mean, it's not that much.
5.5 point favorite. So they taking into account that none of the Brooklyn Nets are playing.
They
Do they
are.
have
Yes,
your
they are.
Bembry news?
Bembry is playing.
Oh shit! Well, yeah, Nuggets 5.5 points. The over under 219. What have the? Do we know what
This might be a second night of a back-to-back random
Man.
guys playing. This might be an ugly clunker, man.
Dude, I'm saying like this. Yeah, this game has all the makings of a makeup game. Like everyone's just sort of like, all right, like there's no joy in this game. It's just something we have to do to get through.
My tempting.
So I don't even know, man. Like this is a game that like really makes me nervous about putting money down into different.
That's why it's fun, though. That's why you do it. Like you're 100% right that betting on this game is very dumb. This is not a game where like the sharps are all over it. This is a game.
No, this is for the dulls.
This is definitely
where the sharps are like, who knows?
This is for the absolute.
I
dulls.
just took Nuggets 5.5.
You did.
I did.
5.5.
I mean, Jokic over 12.5 rebounds. It's probably a lock.
Yes, that feels good.
There is an odds boost for Jokic 30 and 14, which feels like a sucker bet.
Oh man, Jokic had 28 points last night.
Yeah, he's not scoring the ball that well.
I mean, he's
as of
probably
late.
going to get a F ton of rebounds tonight, given the Nets starting lineup and the amount of misses I anticipate from both squads.
He plays the whole game.
This does feel like oh man, anytime that we're like, well, they're going to be, no one's there, they're going to miss a ton, and then it's like Claxton comes out and just can't, like all these guys that are typically have.
I'm prepared for the pain.
That have like the shortest leash on earth where they're like, oh, whatever.
By the way, he's
like,
out, by the way, but your point stands.
Bembry, when Bembry comes in and just starts lighting the world on fire
Yeah.
because there's no one coming up behind him, like. This is a crazy game. I mean, I think I agree with you, Harrison. I think rebounds is like probably the place I would look to first.
Should we get some? Okay, so
Dev,
Jokic rebounds.
Dev in the chat, he says, bet the house on Nuggets first half -2.
Oh wow, I love this. -2. I'm in.
I
2.5.
love it.
That's actually a great bet, man.
Great bet
That's
here.
a great bet. I say actually, like Dev doesn't always give us great bets.
First half. 2.5 is what it is online. I like it. Thanks, Dev, for saving.
for rescuing this. Oh my god.
What about threes? Can we get it? Is there a Bones threes? Is there a Bryn Forbes threes? Man, they are so.
I'm not betting on Bones threes tonight.
Bryn Forbes threes 1.5.
Man, he let us down last time. He only shot 2 threes last time.
Never does it twice in a row.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a chance he plays extended minutes. I'm taking it. 2 threes.
2 threes from our guy Bryn.
2 threes from Bryn. I like
Bryn's
it.
due.
Put in the unit.
Bryn is due.
It's a total he's due bet on it. You know what I like?
What
All
do you
right, so
like?
we got some guys never playing together.
Will Barton threes is another one you might look. It's also at 1.5. Although the
coming off
juice
that
is
hamstring.
Juice is not good. -195. I think the sharps see Will Barton with threes in his eyes tonight. Also,
They lowered Jokic's steals to 0.5, which I'm kind of surprised by. But the odds are -200, so not going to do it. I will say he does have a very good height advantage tonight, so maybe Jokic blocks are at 0.5, -110. You know what? I'm going to take that. Jokic blocks. Okay.
-115.
Yeah, -150. You know what? Not a bad bet here. You got to put some weird random things on here.
Do you? Is that how it works?
That is how you got to do it. I don't know if you guys know this. Jeff Green playing against his old team, guys. Does he go off tonight?
Woo.
No.
And
He
well,
just went off
plays it
last night.
every night is it against his old
I know
team.
it's every game.
Jeff went off last night, and it's a back-to-back.
Was he
for
playing
the-
a former team
You're
last night?
right, actually. He's the old guy. Don't bet on the old
Back-to-back.
guy
Don't
on the
touch that.
back-to-back.
Don't touch
What about
that.
Zeke Naji threes? Do we have Zeke Naji?
Yeah, let's
on the
get
board?
Zeke in there
Hell
for
yeah.
free.
Oh,
Hell
he's
yeah.
not on the board.
Watch him
Bunch
not
of
play.
cowards, man. Bunch of cowards.
But also thanks for all the money.
All right, is there one more bet we want to get in here?
Threes.
Could it be a Monte bounce back night?
He's due.
He is
He's really
due. He's had
due.
two.
I love the due concept in
I'm
betting.
taking Monte.
He's
for
been
a 3.
sucking
That's
lately.
going in my parlay.
Let's
You're
bet
taking
on
him
him.
for a 3.
Yeah.
Monte Morris, 12.5 points. F it, I'm going with it. I'm believing in you, Monte. That slump is over. That slump is long gone. All right, so there are my bets. I got Monte points. I got Jokic with 1 block. I got Bryn Forbes with 2 threes, and I got Nuggets 2.5 at the
Oh
half.
man, you can get Jokic steals and blocks 1.5 -120. That juice is not great for that.
Juice is not really all that great. Those are my bets, guys. I'm sticking to them. Thanks so much for watching the pregame show, guys. We're going to go watch this game with the fellas and the homies and the ladies, I guess. And
That's
we'll
right.
be right back here.
The ladies will be watching with me as per that
Ladies.
graphic from last night.